All right, so today we're going to perform some maintenance in the Macan. First of all, I'm going to show how to remove the air intake plenum, because I'm going to be cleaning the valves, and then I want to replace the high pressure fuel pumps. And while I'm there, I'm going to replace the vacuum pump. So I'll probably release this in a series of videos so that we do it in a kind of in a menu type format. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing today. Before I start, it is important that the car is placed in neutral gear to allow for engine turnover or rotation. It needs to be done before starting, as I'll be disconnecting the battery for the maintenance process. The engine needs to be turned over to ensure valves are closed in cylinders that are being cleaned, and also to ensure that the high pressure fuel pump cam is at its lowest level before installing new pumps. To turn engine over, a 27mm wrench is needed. Place over the center nut of the crankcase pulley and rotate clockwise. I am now disconnecting the battery. A bunch of parts here, some of which I bought probably over 3 years ago, and I just haven't done the maintenance. So these are all the parts for the high pressure fuel pump. This is the high pressure fuel pump itself. So I got 2 of these, right? And then I also have the fuel rail tubing, because it seems that these are one-time use, so you disconnect them from the high pressure fuel pump, you need to replace this. Then I have the gaskets for the intake manifold. I'm going to replace that as well. And then I have the followers here. You can see the part number here for the high pressure fuel pump plunge or plunger. So I'll be replacing this as well. And I have the other pump here. And what else? These are not related parts. So for the valve cleaning, I'm going to soak the valves with this liquid moly valve cleaning fluid. I have the zip tie wraps on my drill here, and that I'm going to use to scrub. And then I bought this some time ago. This is the walnut blaster. You connect the air here, and then you use this. I also have this, right? So this connects to a vacuum, and then you can basically introduce the wand and seal it, and then blast it there. So I'll be demonstrating that as well. And I got 2 of these. These are the walnuts. So I don't know how many I need. Bought 2. Maybe I'll just use 1. So let's see. I start by removing the engine cover trim and the engine throttle valve hose. I am now removing the PCV valves using an E10 socket to remove the bolts. Once the bolts are removed, pull the PCV valve up and then remove the quick connector. Then do the same on the other side. I use a piece of plastic with the rubber band to cover the openings for the PCV valves. Again, doing the same on the other side. Now I start removing all connections, hoses, and electrical connections from the intake manifold. Right. So basically here you press this and take it out. That's it. You push this out and then go like this and it should come out. Right? Okay. Now it's time to remove all bracket bolts. They're all E10, so I'm using the same E10 socket. There are about 4 of them. Take this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this to the fuel pressure pumps. So in order to take this out, I need to put a towel down there and then push this, press this and then take it out. That's how it comes out. All right, let's see if we can do that. Go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put all these bolts again here, just so I'll have it, Now, I'm removing the intake manifold bolts. There are 8 of them, 4 on either side. These are captive bolts, so you won't be able to take them off the intake manifold. So just loosen the bolts and leave them in place. They will come out with the intake manifold. To remove the intake manifold, just pull up. Now I'm removing the throttle valve connection. Now carefully remove the intake manifold, making sure that you're not pulling unintentionally any hose or connection. So I cannot do anything with 2, so I'm going to go over that for now. The valves in cylinders 2 and 5 are open, so I'm starting the cleaning process with the rest of the cylinders. I'm now inspecting each cylinder, and now you can see the condition of each one. It's not that bad for 160,000 miles. So I start by just putting a towel in cylinders 2 and 5, just to make sure that I'm not accidentally introducing anything into the actual cylinders. So I start with the cleaning fluid, the valve cleaner, liquid moly valve cleaner. So I pour a little bit into each cylinder, and then I take my drill with the zip ties and start scrubbing the top of the valves. This process, I didn't like it that much because it's really messy, and it was splashing the cleaner all over, and in the end it didn't yield the results I was expecting. So I abandoned that very quickly. As you can see there, I still have some residual carbon deposits. So I quickly moved to the walnut blasting, and that yielded much better results. So in the future, I'll be just keeping to the walnut blasting. I'm not doing or attempt to be doing the cleaning with the valve cleaner anymore. I made a mistake here, so I didn't turn my vacuum on. So that's why you will see walnut splashing over now. I actually turned the vacuum on. Now you see me actually blasting with the valves. I'm using this small vacuum cleaner to collect residues, but overall this was a great solution for cleaning the valves. Once I finish cleaning the valves on these cylinders, I need to move to cylinder 2 and 5. That means that I need to close the valve in cylinders 2 and 5, and in order to do that, I need to turn the engine over. And remember, you do that by rotating the crankcase pulley clockwise until the valves are closed. Now I'm proceeding to clean valves on cylinders 2 and 5. I finished the cleaning by blasting compressed air on top of the valves. I removed the walnut residue, any residual walnuts. The valves were very clean, as you can see in the photo in the far right. So this probably is pressurized, so what I'm going to do is wrap a towel around it, and that should. So these are very high pressure fuel lines, so I'm taking special precautions to work on this safely. Do not attempt this if you're not sure of what you're doing. Actually, it wasn't pressurized. You're going to take this cruise manually because you're supposed to take a little bit at a time. So go from left to right. This is interesting. Left to right. Makes it interesting. I have seen in other cars that you're supposed to take these at the same time, but here with these tabs, yeah, I'm not sure. To rotate them. After removing the high pressure fuel pump bolts, I'm starting to remove the bolts that hold the tubing in place. Remember that these tubings are one-time use, so they should be replaced if you're replacing the high pressure pump. The high pressure pump is held in place by two tabs, so you need to rotate the pump clockwise and then pull it up. Now I'm removing the cam follower. A little bit of starter loop here just to make sure that this, although there's lubrication there, just want to make sure that this is well lubricated. The cam follower has a small tab that goes into a groove into that opening, so it can only go in one way. Now I'm inserting the pump and rotating it counterclockwise. In this case, the cam was already in a lower position, so I didn't have to turn engine over to rotate the cam to put it in the lower position. Now I'm reinstalling all bolts using an E10 socket. Now in goes the tubing. As I stated earlier, this tubing is new. I'm now making sure everything is tightened, but this will be torqued later. Now doing the same thing on the other side. The tubing connects in a slightly different place in this side to the fuel rail. In this case, I needed to remove this bracket in order to gain access to one of the tubing bolts. Rotate clockwise to remove the fuel pump and then pull up. Now removing the cam follower. So this is what I'm referring to. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's a little bit of scoring. I'm not sure if that's normal, but this is what I saw. It's not deep. It may just be superficial, but yeah, this is it. The rest of the high pressure fuel pump, is okay. No smell of fuel, but yeah, they were old, so it's good that I replaced them. And then the gaskets and the old tubing, so contacting while it's starting up significantly. So, all right. Now, yeah. All right, so I have to turn the engine over a little bit so that this could go in. Remember, turn engine over with a 27 millimeter wrench, turning crankcase pulley over clockwise. Now I'm proceeding to install the high pressure fuel pump on the right side of the engine. Now it's time to torque all the nuts and bolts. I start with the tubing, torquing the nuts to 20 Newton meters, and this is the initial tightening. I will come back to them for further torque. Next, the fastening screws are torqued to 10 Newton meters. Okay, is everything as well? I am coming back now to retorque all the tubing nuts. The final tightening is set to plus 35 Newton meters. Once everything is torqued and finished, I'm reconnecting all the wires and also connecting the fuel hoses. I am now removing the old gaskets from the intake manifold. I'm going to attempt to clean as best as possible. Now I'm going to install the new gaskets into the intake manifold. You can see the part number there. The package includes all 6 gaskets. You will need to align the gasket tab into the groove in the intake manifold slot. Before installing the intake manifold, I need to reinstall that bracket. I'm taking some time there to clean the surface of the intake valves so that we have a good seal between the intake manifold and the engine. Now it's time to reinstall the intake manifold. While you're installing the intake manifold, make sure that the gaskets remain in place. When in place, start by securing the bolts into the engine. I'm not using any torque specification, I'm just tightening until it feels snug. Now it's time to reinstall all the brackets. Now reconnect the throttle valve connector. Again, tightening until snug. Now reconnect all the remaining connectors, wires, and hoses. Make sure you're routing all the wires and hoses appropriately. I'm relubricating the O-rings. Now it's time to reinstall the PCV valves. I start with the quick connector and then I push the PC valve on the opening. The torque is 10 Newton meters. Now, time to reinstall the throttle hose. fuel smell, so I think that we're fine. And it's actually operating so that it's less rough in idle. Alright, after a few miles, everything looking good. It is incredible that this engine has 160,000 miles and looks new. Well, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button below and I'll see you in the next video.